Okay, what I'm showing you here on this video is how to but also the filters that I used to pull my list from Propstream during the pandemic. Um, so without the pandemic, I was pulling high equity, absentee, and owner occupied properties. It was just like a general list. It was a numbers game. So when the pandemic hit, I had to, change my criterias to reach a more what's the word I'm looking for? A more eligible lead, and for lack of terms, eligible lead that I felt like would which I would be able to get access to the house, um, be able to see the house and be able to get into the property with the buyers. So this is what I pulled, and we go to filters. So we can do it two ways. We can go here and type in a zip code. We can type in the zip code. This is not a good zip code. I was looking something up for somebody. That's not a good zip code. Let's say 07 07017. Let's see. Just pull a zip code. And then go to filters. Over here you see unique properties, 66,458, 159 on the MLS, pre-foreclosure 24, auctions 27, bank owed is 80, 937 cash buyers, 78 with liens, 838 that's vacant, 3,757 that's high equity. So I'm just going by this zip code right here. And what I do is I went to the filters, and what I'm going to do for the pandemic, what I wanted to pick was vacant. I wanted vacant properties. You can pick properties with liens, pre-foreclosure auctions, bank owned, cash buyers. So you can get to pick any of these filters as the main filter. But what I wanted was the vacant properties. So here we have 838 vacant properties, unique properties, in the zip code. So now I'm gonna filter it down. Owner occupied, no. I want it vacant, and I don't want it owner occupied. So that breaks it down to 352. So 352 with just these two filters: owner occupied and non-owner occupied and vacant. So occupancy status, if it's vacant also, so it's just maybe be an abandoned house, you can have, it's still 352 because there's nobody there. If you do occupied, no matches for occupied because it's a vacant property. So that doesn't matter. 352. So property characteristics, what I'm looking for is residential. Property type, I'm looking for single family, condos, and multifamilies. 2 to 4 families is residential. Residential. Anything over 5 properties where I'm at is considered commercial. 5+ properties is commercial. So I stick to the residential, 2 to 4 families. I don't add bathrooms. I don't do the square foot. Year built. Year built, I want to do 1900 to 1980. So now we're down to 279 properties. Lot size, home features, I don't do that. Do school district. Okay. So let's go to MLS. Now sometimes when I don't touch the MLS, it doesn't give me any MLS properties. It's a hit and miss. But I'm just And if I click no, sometimes it'll give me MLS properties that has been expired or that was listed but not listed now. So I'm gonna do no. I'm gonna click the no. Okay. Pre-foreclosure, bank owned. I'm not looking for pre-foreclosure or bank owned properties. I'm not looking for pre-foreclosure, bank owned. So I'm not going to touch that. Ownership. Years of ownership. You'll see a lot of people say 10 or more. You can go 5 or more depending on the list. So if I do 10 as a minimum, you'll see I have 108 properties. If I do 5 as a minimum, then I get 126. So it all depends on, if you have a very small list or if you want to target a wider list of 5 years. So I'll keep that 5 years to keep a wider list. 5 years minimum to max. So owner type, individual. We don't want corporate, we don't want mixed or trust. We want individual properties owned by individual owners. Last sale price. Now I go up to, from $1 to, I go up to 250,000. Now, the thing with the 250,000 is not what it would be worth now. So we're looking for equity. When you wholesaling, you're looking for equity. So if this property was sold for 250,000 5 years ago, and they're in trouble, and they bought it for 250,000, just say right now this property is worth 350,000. So they may have $100,000 worth of equity in this property. So that's the reason I only go to 250, because I'm looking for the cookie cutter homes that's basically first time home buyers, and that's within the 250 to 350 max range, first time home buyers. So that's why I go up to 250 and see. I'm looking for that equity in the property. So I wanted to have sold for 250 5 years ago. Now if I so now we only have 51 properties with these filters. So it's breaking down again. If I did 10 property I sold for 250, last sale price was 250 10 years ago, I have 46. So let's go back to 5. It gives me 51. 5 more properties. Absentee owner location, all out of state, out of country, local. So we just keeping it all. Into family transfer. So you want to include into, it say any, include or exclude. So you can keep that. And if you want to narrow it down, you can go include into family transfer. There's 0 that was transferred from one family member to another family member. If you exclude it, it's going to be 51. So it doesn't matter. It's going to be 51. Okay? I'm not looking for any lien or bankruptcy, no valuation, equity. So the equity I'm looking for is over here, estimated equity percentage. So I'm looking for, some people go 40% and higher. I have 40% and higher. Me, myself, I like to do 60%. Because, like I said, I want equity. I want to be able to have some equity so I can try to get a good deal. The more equity is that's there in the property, the better deal you can possibly get. So now I'm down to 31. Loan to value, not touching the loan to value assessment. So mortgage info, not going to touch the mortgage info. And that's just the basic search. Owner occupied. So we're looking for non-owner occupied, vacant, residential properties that was built between 1900 and 1980 in my area. You know, this is the target, the years up to 1980. On market, no. Years of ownership, 5 or more. Owner type, individual. Last sale price, $1 up to $250,000. So that, again, $250,000. The property was sold for $250,000 5 years ago. So there should be some equity if the value of the property went up. The ARV is higher now. Sell date, yes, include unknown sell date. That's standard. Yes, unknown sell date. Estimated equity percentage, 60% or more. And that's the list for the pandemic. Vacant, because you want to be able to get in the property. And this is what came up. 31 properties. Now, this is only for one zip code. So if you want to get more properties, you just add a zip code. Now, you can save this search. I can save this search right here, and I can name it as, I'll just put it as I'll just put as COVID list. This is the time we targeting this list, and I'll just save it. So now the saved searches would be here where I saved it. And so now I can go to my COVID list, right? That's 31. And I can save this list here. I'll take this and I'll add to a list, right? So I'll create a new list. Create new. And I've named this over here COVID. I know it's a vacant list because it's COVID. So I don't have to put COVID, vacant, high equity. I'll just put COVID because I know what it is. So now that I saved the COVID list, 31 properties, right? And that would be over here, and my properties over here. It would be over here in the COVID list under C somewhere. It would be here, COVID list. Okay. So I'll go back to search. Now I'm back to search, it's empty. So instead of me having to put in my filters all over again, I'll just go to my saved searches. I'll pick up my COVID list. Right? It's automatically going to keep the 07 zip code that I started with. But I can just change the zip code to 7003, and it's now, see, the list is still there, and it's now got 52 properties in this zip code for these filters. So you can keep the filters and just change the zip codes. I can add more zip codes at one time. So you don't have to do it one by one, but you can add zip codes, and I can just go like this. I can click on this and I can add to list. Add to a marketing list, and I'll just put it here, and I'll go to my COVID list. Bam, and I'll save it. And so that's how, well, two things I did in this video. One was I showed you how to actually pull the list that I pulled for COVID, for for the COVID in the quarantine, and it was harder to get into properties to see. For me meeting the seller, and for me going to try to bring a buyer through. So this is a way to just possibly find ways where it's vacant, so you can get in the house, be able to get in the house and see it yourself, or and show the buyer once you get the property under contract. And then also just showed you how to save the list. I can add a little more. And if you want to download the list, you can go here to just say so you go here, say I go to the COVID list, I'm just adding on to this, just giving you a little bit more. So on this list, there's 0 on market because I took out the market. I took out the properties that was on market. None of these was just sold. And I can also filter, you know, what I want to download. First name, last name. You want to skip trace it, you're really just going to need the first name, last name. You know, if you want the second owner, I always take the second owner, first and last name, and the mailing address, and the mailing. Don't really need the mailing unit. And just download the basic information. A lot of it you don't need. So what you can do is you can go to filters and just, if you don't want the units, you can take out the units and just keep the city, the state, the zip. You can keep the county. No, you don't need the county. You don't need the county. You need the first name, last name, mailing address, zip code, and state. You can take all this off. Owner occupied. No, you don't need to know. Owner first name, last name. You want the second owners, you can keep it. Mailing care, name of, you can keep that if you want. But if you got the owner first name, last name, you can keep the mailing care of, in case it may be a probate or something, or somebody may have or may have an what's the term I'm looking for? They may be the executor of the estate. So you may keep them and want to skip trace them and get their number if they actually are the ones that's, you know, have control or power of attorney of the property. So then you have the mailing address of their mailing address, mailing unit. If you want to mail them, you keep the mailing unit. If not, if you're just doing text, RVM, or cold calling, you won't need the mailing unit. Mailing state, mailing zip, and then mailing county. You don't need the county. You could take that. And do not leave. I just keep this. Do not mail. They let you know the people that you know you can't mail. You go down to the next one. You have to do this for each one so you don't get all of these in your list when you download. You don't want a big list of everything, so you don't need any of this. So you can go straight to skip tracing. So you don't need all this. You don't need any of this. So you just remove all these from the list. Price, sale. You just uncheck them. Open loan. You just leave it unchecked. Calculations. You don't want any of these. MLS. You don't want any of this. So this is a simple way of kinda formatting your list to skip trace instead of having to format it later on an Excel sheet. I usually leave this to let you know what marketing list is from. Save layout, no. And then you apply. And it'll come up and it'll apply it up here. And then you just actions. You got 83 actions. And then no, it should say export. My bad. Okay, you click on all of them and you export it. And you export the list. And that's it. And this list will export. It's taking a little time to come up, but so 83 export. It's taking some time, but that's how you export it, and then you just download the list. Okay. Got any questions? Leave them below. Want me to do anything else in Propstream? Let me know. So here we go now. 83 properties exported. Your export has been processed. You receive a confirmation prompt once your file has been downloaded.